Okay, so this is for section 1.1 for Algebra 2. This is specifically B6 IXL. We also had B2, I believe, that was assigned for this section, but this is the one that I anticipate giving us a little bit more trouble, so I want to make sure that we could go through this. This actually is a little bit of a twist off of the actual section itself, but if you show understanding here, I imagine that you'll have very solid understanding of the section itself. So that's why we have this one assigned. This is actually something that you might hear called literal equations when every value of the equation is a variable. So we're just rearranging more so than getting a number value at the end is how I would teach that. Okay, so let's jump into it. First one says solve for Q in terms of P, R, S, and T. This first part is really what we need to pay attention to. Solve for Q, basically that tells me that's the thing that is by itself. And then all those other letters, the variables, those are just going to be on the other side of the equal sign. So I'm going to write this out for the first one at least off to the side. PR equals QST. Reminder that anytime you have variables or coefficients and variables next to each other like this, that's multiplication if you saw me draw those little dots in between. Okay, line down the middle to show us a nice visual of our equal sign. We'll switch colors whenever we're doing an operation. We want Q by itself. Right now we have Q attached to S and T through multiplication. So that means I need to think what undoes multiplication, and if you saw what I just drew right there, division undoes that. It's actually going to undo both of those, so we can do this in one step here. We can divide by both S and T. Remember, with an equation, whatever you do to one side, we have to do to the other. So when I say the other side, that's why I have that vertical line drawn there. Now I should see that those cancel, and I just have Q. If I look at what I have underlined over here, that's what I'm looking for. Equal sign still intact. Nothing here really changes because I don't know any of those values. I don't have any cancellations with one variable with the other, so I'm just going to rewrite that whole thing there. PR divided by ST. I know I'm finished because I have kind of a three-part answer here. I have the variable that we're looking for by itself. That's one. Two is I have the equal sign in the middle. Don't forget that. Three is every other variable on the other side, or every other value if we're dealing with things besides variables. So when I go to type that in, I'm going to have division, and I'm going to have P and R on top and S and T on the bottom there. Okay, awesome. There we go. Wipe the screen. So let's look at another one. Solve for Q in terms of R, S, and T. So that means Q is the thing I want by itself. Let's write this out again so we have more room to work. And I like to show the line down the equal sign. Okay, I want Q by itself, so let's start moving things to the other side. Let's go ahead and let's switch colors again. Let's get rid of this T first. I know right now that T is combined and it's attached through addition, so I need to undo that addition with subtraction. Whatever I do on one side, I got to do to the other. So after that, those cancel, and I still have Q minus R equals. The S and the T, they don't combine or anything, so I just have to rewrite it like that. Now I still have that R attached, so I got to get rid of that now. So currently it's attached through subtraction. So to undo that, I'm going to add to both sides. When I do that, those cancel, and I just have the Q that I'm looking for. I have my equal sign in the middle, so those are the first two parts of my answer. And then again, these don't really combine, so I just have to rewrite. Oops, let's get back one step here. As S minus T plus R. So now I have the variable I'm looking for, equal sign, then everything else on the other side. Let's put that in. Q equals, it already gives you that, so I'm going to write S minus t, and then plus r. Double check, s minus t plus r should be good. Excellent. Okay, let's see if we can't jump up at all if it looks any different. Let's make sure I'm on my pointer. Let's look at something here. This looks like an area formula, actually. I'm glad they picked something that we actually use. Area equals length times width, or L times W. Now we want just W, so let's say we had the area and we had the length, but we don't know what the width is. We can get W by itself by undoing the operations again. So I need to undo multiplication. That's how those two variables are attached. And I want just W by itself, so I need to cancel out the L, and I need to do that on both sides. Those cancel, and then I'm going to have just the W left over equals A divided by L. Now I have W by itself, I have the equal sign, and I have all the other letters on the other side. Now I can put this in as my answer. So A, and then it wants us to use this like cursive L. So let's click that, not twice, just once, and then hit submit. Fantastic. Okay, let's see if we have anything else that we need to look at. Oh, we've hit an 80. Let's do one that's in this upper echelon of difficulty, and then we will call it a video. So we need Q by itself. We want everything else on the other side. Let's rewrite here. This one does look a little bit more intimidating. And line down the middle, boom. Okay, so we want Q by itself. Right now I have two things attached through multiplication, so I'm going to start dividing. First thing is I'm going to divide by r, so those cancel, and I got to do that on each side. When I do that, I'm going to have negative 1 over s times q. Now I'm going to rewrite that here to just make it a little bit more something that I can understand. 1 times q is just q. So what I can do there is I can just write the q on the top and the s on the bottom. That would be like if I actually multiplied those two things together, because this is technically a q over 1. Negative 1 times q is negative q. S times 1 is still s. So if you didn't see where I got that from, that's what I'm looking at. All right. I still need to get rid of this negative and this divided by s. To do that, I can multiply, and I can do that all in one step. If I multiply by a negative s, because now this and that cancel, I also have to multiply by a negative s on that side. Now I have just q, and then I have negative s times p over r. So let's see if I can't type that in and see where we're at. All right, negative s times, I don't think, oh, they don't want me to use that, p over r. Great, awesome. Okay, so that's probably about as difficult as you would see there. So remember, if you have something like that, you can rewatch this part a few times if need be. All right, let's wrap up here. Hopefully that helped, and that's going to be section 1-1. See you.